don't know if you guys can pick that up, but this is what you got to be careful about. It's a bubble party in there. And that's just all the cleaner. You got to be cautious. It's like a damn nightclub in Vegas.
This video is brought to you by Sporlan. Quality, integrity, and tradition.
Today's call is on a Trane Voyager package unit that's not working properly. The manager's complaint is that it's just not cooling off the kitchen. So when I walk up to the unit, first thing I do is open up their display right here. And these are my error messages. And we have a compressor 2 lockout and a mixed air temp issue, but the one I'm concerned about is compressor 2 high pressure lockout. There's an issue going on with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at the condenser fan motors. They're both spinning. The second one doesn't look like it's spinning fast enough, but it is. You can see through my microchannel condenser. You guys look over there, but it's because of the location of this exhaust fan right here, this microchannel is covered in grease. So that's not good. So we're gonna pull the hail guards and clean this properly. We're gonna have to use a degreaser. You gotta be very careful using degreasers on microchannel condensers. You have to make sure you use a safe one. The product that I'm gonna use is the Viper HD cleaner. It's completely safe for aluminum microchannel coils. All it's gonna do is take the grease off. It's not gonna strip the aluminum or anything like that. So we're gonna give this guy a good rinse. We need to come up with a solution here because we've had this problem before, and we got to figure it out. That exhaust fan shouldn't have been put that close to that AC package unit. That's a problem. So we're going to figure that out, but for now we're going to get it cleaned up and then go through all the unit operations. Check this out. Looks like we might be low on charge too. Sensor stand. This thing looks like it might be a cluster F of problem. So we're gonna have to go through this. This is a high efficiency Trane unit, TXVs, VFDs, all that good stuff. You also want to make sure that when all stages are calling that you're on full speed. The VFD drive currently says 60 Hertz, and that's good because we're on full speed right now. So my second stage tripped on high pressure again because I kind of had the panel off and I'm waiting for it to reset. But my first stage, there's something funky going on here, because we're gonna go ahead and clean up that condenser and then proceed from there. But look at that suction pressure, man, way low, way low. This grease is being really stubborn. We're gonna have to do a couple coats of this cleaner. Yes, I know one coat of the New Bright would do it, but it'll strip off and ruin the microchannel. So we just gotta do it slowly, let it sit, rinse, and then do it over and over again. I've also got cleaner going from the inside out, so we're not just rinsing from the outside in. But yeah, it's taking stuff off, but it's just slow. See, I mean, it's dirt coming out, but it's just gonna take a couple different coats to get this stuff all off. Once I got most of the surface stuff off, I take my little scrub brush and just give it a little. My fear is that I'm packing the grease in, so that's why I try to get most of it off before, and then it's really taking the surface stuff off, and then just got to make sure that you're not, you know, smashing it into the fins. But for the most part, we got this guy pretty good. Unfortunately, it's gonna get dirty again because it's so close to this exhaust fan. You got to keep doing this every single time. It's kind of silly, but until we figure out a permanent solution by diverting air or something like that. My problem with putting a hood extension on the exhaust fan is we have to service it every month to check the belt. So a hood extension, yeah, there's a perfect flange for it, but it's just gonna be a nightmare having to check the belt. So we'll see, we'll come up with a solution. So that's about as clean as it's gonna come. There's still a couple little grease spots, but it's better than it was. You gotta give it a pat down, and a lot of water is gonna come out anytime you're working on the micro channels. Some people have some cool ideas of using like leaf blowers and nitrogen and CO2. I'm a little lazy and don't want to go get that from my van right now. So I just give it a pat, get some of this water out, because if you don't, it can trip high head pressure right away because it can't get all that stuff out. We're still gonna have a foam party inside with bubbles, but try to get as much as we can out. I don't know if you guys can pick that up, but this is what you got to be careful about. It's a bubble party in there. And that's just all the cleaner. You got to be cautious. It's like a damn nightclub in Vegas. That's why if you can blow that stuff out, you should. But give it some taps, help the stuff come out. Be careful you don't ruin a fan motor or something. This one's not that bad. I've gotten a lot of it out, so see what I'm saying? There's bubbles galore in there. So right now we've still got a wet condenser, so we got to let this unit dry out. We'll just let it run for a little while. It's weird. My first stage is looking half-assed decent now. I don't know if it was just iced up before. We'll have to get in and look at those distributors coming off that TXV. See what they look like now. I mean, my suction pressure's a little low, but I'm gonna go ahead and check out the second stage and see how that one's doing, and then we'll keep going. So, I don't know what was happening, but my second stage was acting really funny earlier. It might have been because I had the panel off too long or something, because we're looking pretty good now. I mean, our pressures are pretty much on target. Our superheat is kind of moving a little bit as the air temperature changes, the suction line temperature changes. It's kind of moving around. Subcooling, you know, it's a little bit on the high side, but the condenser's clean. My pressures aren't too bad. As far as my performance of my unit goes, we're pretty good on our BTU output. It's a really dry day today. Okay, we're gonna keep watching it. I don't know why my head pressure's climbing though. We're gonna watch it for a little bit longer. But this is still my second stage. I'm gonna switch back over to the first stage in a minute. Yeah, see, my head pressure's coming back in target. So my second stage, the head pressure keeps climbing on it. And one of the things that Measure Quick is telling me a potential problem is airflow is low. I know that the airflow is low. Like I said, that's a real common thing we have with package units. But it also says system may be overcharged with refrigerant, and I'm kind of thinking that might be the case based off on my subcooling being so high and how my head pressure keeps, every once in a while when the expansion valve adjusts, or yeah, when the expansion valve adjusts, my head pressure skyrockets. Like right now it's doing it. And I realize that's part of the natural thing, but we shouldn't be climbing that high. So we might be letting some gas out of this guy. Grab that recovery cylinder. So my first stage is doing almost the same thing. And here's what I think is going on here. I just visually looking at the supply and return diffusers downstairs, or the return air grills and the supply diffusers, this thing looks low on supply grills. And I think that it, which is a very common thing at this restaurant, I think that they did a mistake on installation and didn't give them enough supply registers to allow for enough airflow. I believe that's why we're running our low suction pressure. As far as the high subcooling, you know, it's within range on the head pressure, but the subcooling's a little bit high. But I don't really want to start playing with that until we possibly fix their airflow issues to see what changes with that. My temperature split is extremely high, and my my supply duct temperature is extremely low, which to me would indicate that we're restricting our supply airflow. We have a 29-degree temp split. We're running low airflow, and yeah, and this is a really common occurrence on these restaurants, is bad airflow, bad ductwork, stuff like that. So we're going to talk to them. Honestly, I don't think they're going to want to fix it. They're probably just going to deal with it. I believe our initial call today was just simply the high head pressure alarm, and I corrected that, and it's working now. So so that's where we're at. We're going to watch this for a little bit longer. Well, that's very interesting. I do not have a high supply side static. It's only 0.9, 0.10. And my return air side is only 0.5. So I'm under an inch of total external static on this unit. Interesting.
You know, sometimes we are at the mercy of the restaurants, and you know, this particular one, they're kind of not really wanting me to investigate the airflow problems any more than they already have. This particular restaurant has some major issues. This is the one that has the big giant tempered makeup air unit. I've made a video on it before. And it's a evaporative cooler, and then it has a heating section to it. It was the one actually that froze. The evaporative cooling section froze in the middle of the winter because the solenoid valve got stuck open, and, you know, la-di-da. But anyways, it's like a major design flaw that the restaurant, the facilities department has known about, because it doesn't have enough air conditioning, you know, in the kitchen essentially, and the makeup air unit is putting too much humidity basically into the building in the middle of the summer, and the AC just can't overtake it. You know, I mean, when we get the monsoonal moisture coming through this area, it's just a disaster. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. So they've kind of already known about ductwork issues and air conditioning issues, and they've kind of just, you know, not really wanted to deal with it too much because it's kind of operating. And sometimes you just got to deal with this kind of stuff. You know, realistically, like I said in the video, I'm pretty sure my problem was just that high pressure issue, just because we had a dirty condenser. It's important that we remember this stuff. And you know what I didn't do, but I really should do, is I should take a Measure Quick report and put it in like some kind of a, maybe even laminate it and put it on the unit. So that way the next guy that comes up to this unit doesn't walk in trying to figure out everything that I've figured out. We know we have airflow issues. We know that there's something funky, and then, you know, we know that we're going to have to clean that condenser a bunch too. It's just one of those things in working in restaurants. You know, you get to find these complex problems, but then sometimes you don't always get to fix them. To be honest with you, I don't do a lot of like the big construction work, as far as, you know, if they wanted me to put a bigger air conditioner on the roof, I'd probably have to get another company involved, because I don't really do too much duct work. I'll do light, adding a couple registers or something like that, but I'm not, you know, taking ceilings down and adding new plenums, and I don't do that kind of stuff. I'm more of a service guy. So, you know, I don't always get the satisfaction of fixing all of this stuff, okay? I'm kind of curious to know what your guys' thoughts are on what the issue is here with the airflow. I know we corrected the high temp issue, or high pressure issue, you know, by cleaning the condenser, but as far as the airflow, it's kind of funky. You know, you see that. Now, I will say it's always possible that because I'm on a package unit, I was getting my temperature readings, you know, too close to the evaporator. It's a very good possibility. So that could be some of the reason why my supply side temperature is so low. But I'm still kind of intrigued as to why we're showing such low airflow and the low static pressure on the supply side. That was an interesting one too. And I was taking the static pressure readings in the supply and the return. So the supply side was after the blower motor. So it was the true supply side going downstairs. And then also I was taking the return air static pressure reading as the return air was coming up from the building. And I did verify that the economizer damper was closed when I was taking that static pressure reading. So, but yeah, I'm just kind of curious what you guys think is going on there. You know, I don't know everything, you know, I'm kind of just troubleshooting as I go and just kind of coming up with a, you know, what I think is going on. And then, you know, you just try to back that up with some numbers, you know. So if I'm concerned about the airflow, the next thing I checked was putting my static pressure probes on there. And then I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't adding up. I was thinking we would have a really high supply side static pressure, you know, confirming my diagnosis of not enough supply registers. But I don't know, you know, that's not necessarily the case. Anyways, I don't know if we'll ever find a solution to this, because the restaurant really doesn't want me to dig into it too much more. You know, so it's just one of those things. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. Please leave me some feedback down in the bottom. Send me an email to hvacrvideos@gmail.com. And I just want to say thank you guys so very much. I'm very humbled by the response that I get from you guys, by the amount of views. It's such a trip. You know, I'm just trying, just like I've said it a million times, I'm just trying to share the little bit of knowledge that I have. I do not know everything, and I'm not going to pretend to even stand on a soapbox and tell you that I know everything, okay? I'm learning every day. You know, I read articles, I watch other people's videos. I'm just like you guys. I'm just, you know, just trying to share the little bit of knowledge that I do have, okay? So again, thank you guys so very much, and we will catch you guys on the next one, okay?